Andrea Jenkyns.
Thank you. I welcome this bill as it delivers on our election manifesto promise to deal with a long-standing injustice and which paves the way to a new framework that puts justice at its heart. I've always been proud of our armed forces. My late father was in the Royal Scots Greys and the 2nd Tank Regiment. And my husband, the Honourable Member for Filton and Bradley Stoke, is an Army veteran who served in Afghanistan. I am also very proud of my constituency of Morley and Atwood, how they support our veterans, especially the Royal British Legion in Morley, where Gail and her team of volunteers raise tens of thousands of pounds per year for our veterans. Veterans are part of all our communities, and it's crucial that we value their contribution to this country. We must seek to protect them as they put their lives on the line to protect us and our country. This bill finally finds a solution to ending the injustice of vexatious claims. For too long, veterans have been the victims of lawyers' profiteering ventures in which profits were made from the constant threat of re-prosecution. A new 5-year limit on the time in which our troops can be subject to legal claims, apart from in exceptional circumstances, will help stop unfounded allegations. We ask much of our armed forces, yet as things stand, they face an unending trauma from persistent reinvestigation. In essence, this bill acts to remove this injustice and creates a new legal framework that puts justice at its core. This bill will achieve this with a triple lock to protect and secure the welfare of our armed forces personnel.
Extremely grateful that Lady as ever is making a strong case. Will she confirm that far from the irresponsible, scurrilous and unpatriotic claims of the member for Leicester East, this bill doesn't mean that soldiers can do as they please. It simply protects them from those very malicious and vexatious charges long after they've served, which they've been plagued by for too long.
I thank you, Honourable Member, for your comment. The trauma has been inflicted on veterans by disgraced lawyers and should be a source of shame to all of us. Many veterans' lives have been put into a state of unending misery. This bill required that prosecutors will take into account the adverse effect that overseas operations can have on service personnel and recognises that in the interest of justice there should be a reasonable and swift resolution of cases that have always been investigated and where there is no compelling new evidence. There is a justice in having certainty about the future of our armed forces. They deserve this. And this is a legal framework that provides clarity in dealing with these allegations. Not only do I welcome this bill for removing the injustice of repeated investigations, but also for being a measured step. I'm running out of time. This will not put armed forces in any legal privilege. The same laws, both domestic and international, will always apply. This bill's statutory presumption against prosecution does not prevent justice being served in cases where armed forces personnel have committed genuine crimes. This is the Conservative Party manifesto promise, and as a party we will always stand up and fight for our servicemen and women. But most importantly, this bill ends the blight on the lives of our veterans with a sensible and fair measures. I know my constituents will welcome its contribution to guaranteeing